Hello everyone, this is George Will. I'm coming to you today with information that frankly has left me stunned. Documents have emerged, leaked from sources with direct access to the Sussex household, and what they reveal is nothing short of explosive. Prince Harry, the man who walked away from his entire family, his country, and his duties, is now desperately trying to find a way back. Before we go any further, I need you to subscribe right now. What you're about to hear is not being covered properly anywhere else, and the evidence I'm about to present will change how you see this entire saga. Let me begin with what happened just 4 days ago when a package arrived at a London law firm containing copies of correspondence, photographs, and what appears to be a personal journal spanning 14 months. The material was delivered anonymously, but multiple sources have confirmed its authenticity, and I have had direct access to these documents, which I'm going to walk you through in complete detail. The first item is a handwritten letter dated November 22nd of last year, and the handwriting has been verified as Harry's by two independent experts. The letter is addressed to a former private secretary who served the late Queen Elizabeth, and I need to read this to you word for word because the language is absolutely critical. He writes, "I know I have no right to ask for your help after everything I've said and done, but I'm writing to you because I don't know who else to turn to. I made mistakes, terrible mistakes. I was angry and I was manipulated, and I let that anger destroy relationships that meant everything to me. I want to fix this. I want to come home, but every attempt I make is blocked. I feel like a prisoner in my own life." Read that again carefully. I feel like a prisoner in my own life. These are not the words of a man who is living his dream in California. These are the words of someone who has realized he made a catastrophic error and is now trapped by the consequences. A second letter dated December 14th was sent to an unnamed member of the royal household, and in this correspondence, Harry describes his daily existence in troubling detail. He writes about how his schedule is managed down to the minute, how every conversation is monitored, and how he is discouraged from maintaining friendships outside of an approved circle. He uses the phrase emotional blackmail 3 separate times throughout the letter. He writes, and I am quoting directly, "Whenever I suggest seeing old friends or spending time alone with my children without cameras present, I'm told I'm being selfish, that I'm jeopardizing our security, that I'm undermining our work, but it's not work, it's performance, and I'm tired of performing." Consider the profound irony here. This is a man who left the royal family because he said he was tired of performing, tired of the circus, tired of living his life for public consumption. And now he is admitting that his new life is exactly the same except worse, because at least in the royal family he had the support of an institution, the love of his family, and a clear sense of purpose. There are 19 photographs included in this leaked material, taken over an 8-month period from April to November of last year. These were not taken by paparazzi, but by someone inside the household, someone who clearly had concerns about what they were witnessing. The first photograph shows Harry sitting alone in what appears to be a home office with a timestamp reading 3:17 in the morning. He is at a desk with his laptop open, and on the screen, visible when you zoom in, is a webpage titled "Royal Residences Available for Lease." Why would a man who claims to be happy in California be researching royal properties in the middle of the night? The second photograph is even more telling, showing Harry holding a framed photograph in what looks like a bedroom. The frame is silver and ornate, clearly expensive, and in the photo you can see William and Harry together, both in military uniform, both smiling. Harry is sitting on the edge of the bed holding this frame and staring at it with an expression of profound sadness, pure grief. Another image shows Harry on the phone at 6:43 in the evening, with metadata indicating this was taken in late September. He is pacing in what appears to be a garden, and the body language is unmistakable, with hunched shoulders and his hand on his forehead, the posture of someone who is either arguing or pleading. According to a source who was present at the time, Harry was on the phone with his father's office trying once again to arrange a private meeting. The call lasted 41 minutes, and at the end of it, Harry threw his phone onto a table and said, "What's the point? They'll never let me speak to him alone." Who is they? That is the question. 5 of these photographs show packed luggage, not one bag or 2 bags, but 5 suitcases and 3 carry-on bags, all packed and sitting in what appears to be an entryway. The timestamps on these images span a 2-week period in late October, and according to a staff member who has since left the household and provided testimony under oath, Harry packed those bags on 3 separate occasions intending to leave. On all 3 occasions, he was, in their words, talked down. What exactly does that conversation look like? According to this witness, it involves tears, threats, and ultimatums. The witness describes Harry being told that if he left, he would never see his children again, not as a legal reality, but as an emotional weapon. You walk out that door, you lose them forever. That is manipulation, plain and simple. The staff member who left the household worked in the California residence for 22 months and has provided a sworn statement to a legal team in London that runs to 47 pages, every word of which I have read. This person describes an environment where Harry's autonomy was systematically eroded. They describe how in the early days Harry would make suggestions, voice opinions, and express preferences, but over time those contributions were dismissed, ignored, or openly contradicted in front of others. The witness describes a meeting in July of last year where Harry proposed stepping back from certain media commitments to spend more time with his children. His suggestion was met with, and I am quoting from the testimony, immediate and aggressive pushback. He was told that commitments had been made, contracts had been signed, and that his desire to be a present father was not a valid reason to renege on professional obligations. Wanting to spend time with your children is not a valid reason. Let that sink in. The witness goes on to describe multiple instances where Harry attempted to contact family members in the UK, only to have those efforts actively discouraged or obstructed. In one particularly damning section of the testimony, the witness recalls Harry asking to attend his father's birthday celebration in November. He wanted to fly to London, attend the event, and return within 48 hours. A quick trip with no fanfare and no media circus, just a son wanting to see his father on his birthday. According to this witness, the request was denied, not by the palace, but by his own household. The reason given was security concerns, but the witness states they later discovered no formal security assessment had been conducted and the decision was made unilaterally. We have also obtained copies of text message exchanges between Harry and a close friend from his military days, spanning from August of last year to January of this year, totaling over 200 messages. On August 19th, Harry writes, "I don't recognize my life anymore. I don't recognize myself. I thought I was making a decision for my family. Now I'm not sure whose family I was thinking about." On September 26th, he writes, "I miss my brother every single day. I miss my dad. I miss my mates. I miss home. I miss who I used to be." On October 7th, "I'm not allowed to say this out loud, but I made a mistake, a huge mistake, and I don't know how to fix it." On November 2nd, "Tried to call Will again. No answer. Can't blame him. I destroyed everything." On December 12th, "If I could go back and do it all differently, I would. I'd swallow my pride, work within the system, fix things privately, but I can't go back, and I'm starting to think I can't go forward either." Read that again. "I'm starting to think I cannot go forward either." This is a man who is not just regretful, but despairing, lost, trapped between a past he destroyed and a future he cannot escape. In January, just 3 weeks ago, he writes, "I've drafted a letter to Pa. I'm going to send it. I'm going to tell him everything. I'm going to ask him to forgive me. I don't know if he will, but I have to try." We have confirmation that a letter was delivered to Clarence House on January 9th. The contents have not been disclosed, but sources close to the king describe it as deeply personal, emotional, and contrite. The king's response, according to insiders, is that His Majesty was moved by the letter but remains cautious. He has been burned before. They all have, and there is a real question about whether Harry is acting of his own free will or whether this is another performance, another calculated move. That is the tragedy here. Even when Harry is being genuine, even when he is reaching out with sincerity, there is so much suspicion and so much damage that his words are met with skepticism. We have obtained flight records from a private aviation company based in Los Angeles showing that between June and December of last year, inquiries were made for one-way flights from Los Angeles to London on 7 separate occasions. The inquiries were made using an account linked to Harry's security team. One-way flights, not round trips, 7 times. None of these flights were ever booked, but the inquiries were made. Why would someone inquire about one-way flights multiple times unless they were seriously considering leaving and not coming back? There is also a financial component that has not been widely reported. According to documents filed with Companies House in the UK, Harry re-established a dormant company in his name in October of last year. The company, which had been inactive since 2018, was suddenly reactivated with a stated purpose of property investment and management. Why would Harry reactivate a UK-based company unless he was planning to re-establish himself in Britain?